And welcome back to the Zolteus Gaming Channel. I am your host, Zolteus. Back with very possibly the last episode of Empire of Sin boss review. So we're not going over a specific boss. We're actually going to kind of compare and contrast the bosses. Now, 100%, this is the disclaimer. These are my opinions. These are my reviews. These are my thoughts on how these bosses are. Everyone has their own play style, so by no means take what I have as gospel by any means. But just some helpfulness for someone who's played a decent amount of Empire of Sin. I've beaten the game a few times. I actually have some achievements on Steam that like only 2% of people have. So I've tried quite a few bosses. You guys have seen me, show you the special abilities for bosses. Now we're going to talk about kind of like the overall. So first thing we're going to talk about is their diplomatic bonus. We're going to start with Al Capone, and we're going to move on basically as you would see it to the right, but I'm just going to show you some pictures. But starting with Al Capone, the diplomatic bonus it's okay. It's not great. It's actually one of my lowest graded diplomatic bonuses because it's extremely situational. So what I mean by that is passive faction rating gain, defensive pack +1. So you have to be in a defensive pack for this to happen. Yes, those can happen often, but they're very situational. You only get a +1 to the gain. Not that big a deal, so it's actually one of the weaker diplomatic bonuses. Where Al Capone shines is his boss ability. So Rain of Fire, as I have shown you guys in previous videos, if you drop in, use that before battle actually starts, where people start moving around, you can hit them once, and then as they scatter from that point, like normal battle would start, it hits them again. So it has an insanely good use as far as making combat either shorter or just much easier. So its diplomatic bonus, I've rated a B, and his boss ability, I've rated A+. It's probably, in my opinion, one of the two best boss abilities, just for its utility in that aspect. Empire bonus, we're not going to talk about too much. Empire bonus is going to be based on playstyle. So in this case, he has Empire bonus involving the brewery and the brothel. Very situational if you want to make lots of booze and you want to have brothels, but there's no focus on anything. There's no like booze focus or casino focus or anything like that. It's just, brewery production and brothel ambience. So, no big deal there. So we're not rating the Empire bonuses, just the diplomatic bonuses and boss abilities. So like I said, B for the diplomatic bonus, A+ for the boss ability. Now let's move on to Frankie Donovan. So Frankie Donovan, his diplomatic bonus, bygones to be bygones, negative effects with other factions, -50%, is actually, it's pretty decent. You always want to lessen the blows from other factions in previous wars. So this isn't just situational. You're going to get into wars, right? So I rated this at a B+. Now you're thinking, okay, well, that's not that much above a B, right? But that's also because it only takes effects after wars, right? Yeah, you're going to have some wars, but it's not an ongoing effect. So B+ for the diplomatic bonus. His boss ability, I also gave him a B+. Not necessarily situational, but the problem is when you become exhausted, your chance to hit goes way down, which means you can get one, maybe two good shots in with it. But after that, it's highly unlikely that it's going to be useful, and you're going to be exhausted for a short period of time after that. So you're going to have to not necessarily use it sparingly, but you're going to have to be careful in how you use it. It's not like where you could just drop into battle like Al Capone and just start spraying everything and, no harm, no foul, right? So I gave that a B+. So both the diplomatic bonus and the boss ability is B+. The very nice thing about his Empire bonus, however, is it's speakeasy, it's booze focused. So you get bonuses to breweries, but you also get bonuses to speakeasy, which you need beer for to make it successful. So at a minimum, it has that focus. Next, we're moving on to Angelo Jenna. His diplomatic bonus, at your service, faction rating when honoring packs plus 100, and honor gain when honoring packs plus 50%. You're always going to have packs with other bosses, at least until you near end game. At least that's what you want, right? You want packs. And you're going to get better faction rating, better honor gain every single time you have packs. You should have packs for a good portion of the time. And those are huge jumps. Plus 50%, plus 100. You know, that's a big deal. So I gave that an A-, diplomatic bonus of an A-. Pretty good. That's actually my second highest. I rated nothing at an A+ for diplomatic bonus. Just because there was nothing that was just like, oh my gosh, I need to have this. But this is a decent one, so I gave that an A-. Boss ability, if you guys have seen my video, fan of knives, like when you can target someone on the complete other side of the battle map with this, that is insane. And the fact that you can throw 6 total knives and you can distribute them how you want, that makes this a pretty decent battle ability. It may not be a whole lot of damage, but it's still distributed how you want damage with 6 knives. That is awesome. So I gave the boss ability an A on this one. He also has a speakeasy booze focus, so that also makes it highly desirable to use Angelo Jenna if you're going for a booze focus with speakeasy, but that's neither here nor there. Next, we're moving on to Goldie Garneau. Goldie, I gave her diplomatic bonus, room to grow, threat generation in shared neighborhood, minus 50%. I gave that an A-, and I gave it an A- because, I mean, you start in a shared neighborhood. You're always going to have other bosses in your neighborhood until you completely take over a neighborhood. And during that time frame, which you're trying to build that up to take over a neighborhood, having a minus 50% threat generation in a shared neighborhood, that's going to make it a lot easier to get along with bosses. And that's constant. That's constant, like I said, until we're, end game. And when we're end game, diplomatic bonuses go straight out the window. We're not going to need them anymore. So this diplomatic bonus, A-. Very, very nice diplomatic bonus. Boss ability, Killer Queen. So you can mark up to 3 targets, shoot a shot at them, and there's an improved crit chance that ignores defense. That's pretty good. You can do a lot of damage with that, and when we're talking like crits, we're talking high damage. So this also got an A-. It's not as good as the knife throwing, even though it ignores defense. You can only hit 3 people, and you have to have good line of sight, and it's within a certain distance. It's not the same like with Angelo Jenna where you can throw that knife across the battle map. So, but still an amazing ability. So I gave that an A-. In this case, no true focus as far as Empire bonus, plus the speakeasies, minus cost upgrades to casinos. There's no really true focus there. So no big plugs from that. Next, we're going to talk about Sai Wing Mock. Sai Wing Mock's diplomatic bonus, enemy of my enemy. Enemy trades and truces do not reduce faction rating with factions in business arrangements. Very situational. Or at least even the thought of trading with someone that is not super happy with you, it's kind of like, why bother? Because you're going to have to shell out that much more or take that much less in order to deal with enemies of your friends, because chances are they also don't like you. So situational, it's probably one of those where if you desperately need money, you can do it, and it won't reduce faction rating, so that's cool, but it's very situational, so it got a B+. Boss ability, Death Blossoms. I gave this an A because not only does it do a pretty decent amount of damage, you can stack them, and they have a poison after effect of 2 to 3 rounds, which is an additional 15 damage each round. So amazing boss ability, decent AoE, but it still has limitations. Whereas, you have a good gun on Al Capone and you start spraying, you can hit everybody. So got an A. It's still an awesome boss ability. Empire bonus is brothel and casino. There's no focus here, so we're going to move on from Sai Wing Mock. Maggie Dyer. So Maggie Dyer, her diplomatic bonus, Heartbreak Kid, faction rating loss when breaking treaties and business arrangements, minus 50%. I gave this an A- on purpose because the way the game is played now, you're gonna find yourself in a situation where you have to do that, and it's probably going to happen often. And if you can reduce the amount of faction rating loss you get because of that, I mean, that's insane. Because every game, practically, every other month, this was happening to me in the games I was playing, and it was making it very frustrating because there were people that I was trying to build up faction rating with, and in a matter of just a few months, just because another person said, "Hey, would you enter a pact with me?" and then they get declared war on, everyone else is also mad that I'm in this pact with these people, and it's a big mess. So this diplomatic bonus is actually decent. The Lion Tamer ability, however, I gave it a B. I was tempted to give it a B+, but I gave it a B. It's probably one of the ones that I like the least. Very situational. Chances are you want to target the big guy. It doesn't even properly stun them. It just kind of, weakens them a little bit. Yes, you pull them towards you, so if you have some bruisers with you, you can take them down pretty quick. And if you take the biggest guy, and they just happen to be all crowded around you, yeah, you can take down the biggest guy in the room and one less person to deal with. But once again, situational. It's fun to watch, but bad in utilization as far as combat goes. As far as Empire bonus, you have the minus to raid chance of Speakeasy, which gives, I wrote it down as Speakeasy plus. Like, that's minusing a raid chance, especially on a place like Speakeasy, that's great. Now, it does also have brothel security, but whatever. There's no focus here, but that raid chance, actually bumped her up on my list a little bit. So, but we're going to move on. Dion O'Banion. His diplomatic bonus, turncoat, truce duration, minus 50%, business arrangement difficulty, plus 20%. If you watched my video, you heard me, talk about this, how there is actual bonuses to that. I still gave it a B. It's the lowest grade that I gave anything, just like with Al Capone. Extremely situational, but when it does happen, and it will, this will actually work in your favor. You just have to utilize it right. The problem is it's very niche play style, and it's something you have to actually want to do, whereas most people, when they play this, generally don't do that. So gave it the lowest score. However, his boss ability, Blasphemy, it's actually pretty cool, and it has the potential for area of effect. It does a decent amount of damage. It can level a playing field. So I gave it an A-. He also has a booze focus, speakeasy and brewery, minuses to upkeep and ambience cost. So at least he has a focus. So if you like battle and you like booze focus, he's definitely someone to consider. All right, now we got Salazar Reyna. So diplomatic bonus for Salazar. Headhunter, threat generation when killing other bosses, minus 50%. So I gave this a B+. It's very situational, but it's a big situational. Like, minus 50% threat generation when killing other bosses. You're going to generate a lot of threat when you kill a boss. And granted, like I said, if you watch my video on him, at most, 12 times, right? There's 14 total bosses. When you have one left, you could really give a crap whether or not you generate threat with that last boss, because you're going to be at war with them eventually anyway, right? So I was tempted to go lower than a B+, but it's situational. But I mean, that's a big deal, near the beginning and mid game. So gave it a B+. Now his boss ability, Santa Muerte, I gave it an A because it's got an insane radius. And if you have line of sight on all of them, you hit every single one of them. There could be 15 of them in line of sight in your radius, and it's a large radius. You'll shoot all of them, and that's insane. It's not a massive amount of damage, but it's enough that you could take down minor guys pretty quick, or at a minimum, get them down low enough to where they're one shot at that point. So, big thing there. No focus Empire bonus with Salazar. You get minus to ambience, cost, and brothel, and then you get casino draw. There's no rhyme or reason to the Empire bonus. There's no focus, so that is what it is. Next, we're going to talk about Daniel McKee Jackson. So his diplomatic bonus, founding farther, threat generation with a large empire minus 25%. So around mid-game is when you're going to have a pretty large empire. And the fact that you can prevent other bosses from hating you that much longer when you start getting that large empire, so it allows you that much more time to build and secure and arm your guys and all that kind of stuff. It's definitely a big deal mid-game because that's where you're going to find the worst opposition. Yes, beginning a game when you take out your first boss, it's probably going to be one of the hardest times, but it's mid-game when you're, toe-to-toe with a lot of bosses and they're starting to build up their empire and you're, building up your empire is where you're going to start getting more raids. More people are attacking your facilities, all that kind of stuff. And if you can stave them off even just a little bit, in this case, with threat generation minus 25%, it's a big deal. So I gave it an A minus. His boss ability is the only other A plus in out of all the bosses. Al Capone has one. He gets an A plus. Surgically unload a clip. So last rites. If you have a decent crit ability with Daniel McKee Jackson, and you have 5 or 6 people that he has line of sight of and are close enough, he can take down all of them. Like, it's insane. And if you saw the clip, you would understand. He takes them down like slicing butter. And he'll just keep going. And he's got 9 total shots to do that with. Majority of the time, you're going to be in battle where you can just drop in on people. There'll be maybe as many as 5, but most of the time it's going to be 3. You do last rites, either you're close to done or you're done. And battle didn't even truly start. Insane ability. A plus. He also has brothel and casino. No focus there, so we'll move on. Frank Reagan. All right. His diplomatic bonus, strength in numbers. Threat generation when crew size is 6 or greater, minus 20%. Depending on how you play, this could be an or it can be an amazing ability. I say it's an amazing ability because when you get into the later stages of trying to take down bosses and you take a crew size of like 4 or 5, you're going to have a rough time. You're going to have to be stupidly strategic in how you place, and there may be some save scumming that you have to do just because they just happen to take down your guys with, you get bad percentage shots where, you have an 85% chance to hit and you miss. They have a 20% chance to hit and they hit you every time. Those kind of, bad luck can make or break when you have crew sizes small. In this case, I want to roll around with crew size of 6 or greater all the time, to be honest. And this diplomatic bonus makes it more likely to be useful to me than detrimental later. So for that, I gave him an A minus. His boss ability, though, I gave a B plus. Home run. It's a great ability. It allows him to rush a target and hit him. And then he gets a bonus if anyone comes into melee range, but it's very specific to melee. If you're targeting a bunch of guys that are in melee, yeah, it's great. If you're not, and you only have one person that is a melee person, everyone else is ranged, well, I mean, you took down or you took out one person, and that's it. So very situational, can work in your favor, but you have to be strategic with it. So I gave it a B plus. He has a booze focus, brewery with speakeasy. So at a minimum, he has that focus working for him, so that's good. Moving on to Maybelle O'Reilly. Maybelle O'Reilly, her diplomatic bonus, fair price, trade acceptance chance plus 10%. I gave it a B. In my opinion, the worst. It's the worst diplomatic bonus. Al Capone's is pretty close, same as O'Banion's, but like plus 10% trade acceptance chance. I mean, whoop-de-doo. It's really not that big a deal unless you are just in dire straits and everyone hates you. If that's the case, might I suggest just going on a killing spree as opposed to trying to trade with your enemies. Like, I'm not a huge fan of this diplomatic bonus. You guys may find other awesome uses for it. I haven't yet. It's just, it is what it is, so it got to be. Battle ability, Swindler's Shot, take a trick shot. So this is one where they have to, you choose your starting and your ending targets, and then it will go straight through them. And chances are it's going to be a line. So you have to choose a target that is in line with other targets. So it's very situational. Sometimes, especially with the way the UI and the mechanics work, sometimes it doesn't work out exactly the way you want it. And if you were hedging that to get you out of a tough situation, some of the other abilities are just, better suited for that. This one isn't. It's still a decent ability, but it's a B+. You get the deep wounds, which is great, but it's unreliable in making sure that you get the exact desired effect that you're looking for. Her Empire bonus is casino focused. So at a minimum, she has a focus with casinos, and so that's good. She's going to have good bonuses if you want to go that route with casinos. So if you like casinos, you like, taking the gamble, no pun intended. Well, actually pun intended. If you like taking the risk, taking the gamble, going with casinos, she definitely gets those bonuses. So that is good. Moving on, Elvira Duarte. Her diplomatic bonus, Peacemaker, faction rating when making non-aggression pacts with other factions plus 100. That's huge. That is a big, big deal. As a matter of fact, it is the best diplomatic bonus that I have rated out of all of them. Like, tell me when that won't ever work in your favor, and tell me when you have never tell me a gameplay where you've never made a non-aggression pact, unless that was like what you were focused around, is never getting along with other people even from the beginning of the game. Like, if that's your focus, yeah, then don't pick her. But I've had to use that often, and with this kind of diplomatic bonus, it would make things way easier to start and even mid-game. So huge ability. I give it an A. Her boss ability, not so much. Yes, it's great. You get it's Devil's Breath. You get a free pawn for a little while, and they'll eventually die because over time they'll take damage and they'll fight for you. But you have to get right next to them, which means chances are you're going to have to be in the thick of things. And it's only for a certain period of time. And by the time you've used them, chances are they're not just dying from your breath. They're getting shot too. Your boss ability is going to take time to recharge. You've put yourself out in the open. It just doesn't have the utility of the others. So it got to be. It's the lowest rating out of all of them. Same with Maggie Dyer. It's just very situational and low utility. Empire bonus, brothel and casino. No focus there. +1 casino guard is great, but you have to pay for them. So it's meh. All right, moving on. Joseph Saltis. So Joseph Saltis, Jive Joint, neighborhood threat generation when opening a speakeasy, minus 50%. Since his Empire bonuses, or one of his Empire bonuses revolves around a speakeasy. It's decent, situational, but at a minimum, you're gonna have speakeasies if you go with Saltis in your neighborhoods, and so generating less threat, always a good thing. So I gave it a B+. His boss ability, Stampede, once again, enemies have to be positioned very specifically. Sometimes it doesn't work out the way you want it to. It's very situational, so I gave it a B+. And like we've already discussed, Speakeasy, he gets start with an extra level on their upgrades, which is great. And Brothel, so no focus there, but at a minimum, at least his diplomatic bonus jives with, and that's, very much pun intended because, diplomatic bonus jive joint. At least at a minimum, it meshes with his empire bonus. So that's good. All right, last but not least, Stephanie St. Clair. Diplomatic bonus. Roll the dice. Neighborhood threat generation when opening a casino, minus 50%. So very much like Joseph Saltis. Similar situation. She also has an empire bonus that revolves around casinos. So at a minimum, those mesh as well. So I gave that a B+. However, her boss ability, Firing Squad, I gave it an A- just for the mere fact that it's near instant death to any person that you basically point your finger at, right? If you just happen to, go into a situation where you go into a boss's stronghold and for some odd and strange reason they come into the open right next to you, you can be like, hit him. The chances of them not going down are pretty slim. So decent ability, can take down anyone, and it doesn't have an insane cooldown. So it's definitely a good ability. I gave it an A-. Her empire bonus, like we had said before, has casino but also has brewery, but there's no focus. So now we've talked about all the bosses. I have also rated them from A all the way down to B+. No one had lower than a B+, and this was a combination or an average of their diplomatic bonus and boss ability grades that I had given them. Highest I had was an A. Lowest I had was a B+. So I only had 2 A's. I rated Daniel McKee Jackson as number 1. The reason I rated him as number 1 is because his diplomatic bonus and the other A, which was Angelo Jenna, was also an A-. However, his boss ability just blew everyone out, blew it out of the water. Jenna had at a minimum a booze focus with his empire bonus, so it made me really question whether or not Jenna could be top. But Jackson, it's almost automatic. He will take down at least two enemies when using his special ability if he can target at least 2 enemies. So in that situation, as far as the boss ability, was a no-brainer. So like I had mentioned before, number 2, Angelo Jenna, his diplomatic bonus was okay. Just like Jackson, but his boss ability, I rated an A, which put him down just below Jackson. If his damage was higher, he probably could have overtaken Jackson, so I rated him at number 2. So for A-, I had 5 total A- rated. Number 3, Al Capone. For the sole reason of his boss ability. His boss ability his boss ability is just insane. It is insane. So he tops the A-. Next is Salazar Reyna. The reason he tops is because of his boss ability. For the most part, my A-, they average around B+ to A- for their diplomatic ability, but Reyna's boss ability just sets him apart. He has no, empire bonus focus or anything like that, but his boss ability sets him apart. Plus, that diplomatic bonus of minus 50% threat generation when taking down a boss. I mean, it's a big enough deal. So he rated as number 4. Number 5, Sai Wing Mock. He had a decent diplomatic bonus, no empire bonus synergy by any means, but also his boss ability set him at number 5. He has the ability to be a tide changer when it comes to battles. So he rated number 5. Number 6 was Frank Reagan. Now his boss ability was not that great, but his diplomatic bonus was good. And he had a booze focus with booze and speakeasy empire bonuses. And his boss ability works well enough that can get you out of a pinch. So he ranked number 6. Number 7, Goldie Garneau. Now, both of her abilities were rated at an A-. She has no focus as far as Empire bonus, so she rated at the bottom of the A-, but because her 2 abilities were both A-, she rated as an A-. Now on to the B+. The rest of the bosses fell under B+, and it was very difficult to kind of break them apart. But the top of the B+, Elvira Duarte. Sole reason her diplomatic bonus, the best diplomatic bonus out of all of them, it was insane, but her boss ability left a lot to be desired, and she had no focus, and that's why she was dropped down. She could have easily been an A-, but her non-focus and just the worst boss ability dropped her down to a B+, but that diplomatic bonus puts her at the top of the B+. Number 9, we have Frankie Donovan. Frankie Donovan, both of his abilities were rated at a B+, so he was a B+. He has a booze focus, booze and speakeasy empire bonuses, so that worked in his favor. Plus, his boss ability, has the potential to help out in a major pinch. Plus, if you can get it started at the beginning of battle, you can take down 1, possibly 2 guys pretty quick, and that can be a big help. So he rated number 9. Number 10, Dion O'Banion. His diplomatic bonus, the worst. He tied with Maybelle O'Reilly for the worst diplomatic bonus. However, his boss ability is pretty decent, and he has that booze focus with speakeasy and booze empire bonuses. So that put him closer to the top of the B+ at number 10. Number 11, the mid-tier of the B+, Stephanie St. Clair. Her diplomatic bonus, situational, but, at least a better situational than some of them. And her boss ability was an A-, but she has no empire bonus focus. And, the diplomatic bonus and the boss ability are, they're okay. So she ranked literally mid-tier of the B+ at number 11. Number 12, Maggie Dyer. Her boss ability is just, in my opinion, as bad as Duarte's or worse. She has a decent diplomatic bonus, and she gets that minus to raid chance, which probably helped her be at number 12 out of 14. But it wasn't enough to put her higher than anyone else. It's just, when it comes to battle, she's probably one of the worst out of all of the bosses. And battle's going to happen a lot in this game. So it's one of the reasons why I placed a tiny bit more emphasis on boss abilities than I did on diplomatic bonuses. But that's, my preference. So she's number 12. Number 13, and to be honest, number 13 and number 14, it was very difficult for me to choose which one. I actually spent a lot of time, in internal monologue debating. But Maybelle O'Reilly is number 13. She had one of the worst, one of the worst diplomatic bonuses, and her boss ability was it was okay. The only reason she was not last, and I will tell you this, truthfully, is because she had that casino focus. The person who beat her out actually had both diplomatic bonus and boss ability at B+, yet she had a B for diplomatic bonus and a boss ability of B+. So actually she was lower in the rating than number 14, but her casino focus pushed her over just because of that. Now, last but not least, number 14, Joseph Saltis. He has no empire bonus. Both of his diplomatic bonus and his boss ability, they're, very situational. Granted, his diplomatic bonus is a little bit, probably let's go with bounds better than Maybelle O'Reilly's, but the combination of everything and his empire bonus was just meh. So he rated the bottom of the list for me. But that's my review of the bosses. Let me know what you think, and let me know what you guys would like me to do for any of my future videos. I'm actually going to put up a RimWorld video eventually. I might have already started putting up videos, but I'm a part of the beta for a Pathfinder Kingmaker sequel. It's not specifically about Kingmaker, but it is a Pathfinder sequel. Maybe I put some gameplay up on that. Who knows? Let me know what you guys want. I'm open to suggestions. I know a lot of people have been enjoying the Empire of Sin boss review and some of my gameplay on mechanics and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys thoughts are on that. But that's going to do it for Empire of Sin boss comparison, boss review. Like and subscribe for more content. And as always, I will see you in the next video.